there's a number of ways that you can go about getting more clients, but the most important thing to understand is that you have to actually do what it is that you have to do to get more clients. None of this is going to be fun. None of it's going to be easy. None of it's going to be a walk in the park. If it was super, super easy to build a real estate photography business and get clients, everybody would be doing it, and it would be the most saturated industry in the world. In no particular order, the methods to get more real estate photography clients is going to be this. You can cold call, you can walk into open houses, you can walk into brokerages, you can email, you can text, you can DM people, you can create content. And you know, there's some other ones like review building and referral programs and building a really good website and all that stuff. And this video could easily go into the 2-hour mark, and it's going to be a waste of time for everybody. So I'll go over kind of each touch point and give you my thoughts on it. I want to start with emailing just out of the way first. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. You're going to ruin your email domain, and everybody's going to mark it as spam, and it's not going to be good. If you did want to do emailing, cold emailing specifically, make the frickin' email 2 sentences. Hey, I'm a real estate photographer servicing this area. This is what I do. Can we chat? Don't like launch into your whole story and all the services you can provide and the purpose of real estate photography. I don't know what it is. When you become a business owner, you start thinking that like people care more about your story and why you're doing it and what you do, and you have to stand out from the competition. My eyes glaze over when I get an email like that. It's like, I hate to sound like this, but I don't care. I don't care about your business. I care about my business. I care about helping my students' businesses. I don't care about your business. I don't want to buy your product. The cold DMs that I get, and this actually brings up a good point. I was on Instagram the other day and someone messaged me for my YouTube channel. He DM'd me and he said, would you be interested in collaborating with me on my ideas to advance your channel? I thought that was a great cold DM. I said, what did you have in mind? And then he outlined it a little bit more. I said, oh, okay, overall plan, sure. What exactly are you offering and what are your rates? And then he went through the whole thing, video optimization, let's work together. That kind of stuff works. Imagine if I got a DM that was like, hi, my name is John and I work with YouTube, like I'm a YouTube expert and these are all the clients that I've worked with, that blah, blah, blah. Like if it's any longer than 3 sentences, I'm just like, I don't care. I don't have time to read this direct message. I'm sorry. It's the same way with email. Make it short, make it sweet, make it to the point. I don't recommend doing cold emailing. If you're gonna cold email, get like an email list, but even that, like, I don't think those are legal for, like, you can't buy realtors' emails. You have to go through the National Association of Realtors. So if somebody tries to sell you an email list, they're not really supposed to have that as well. So I don't recommend it. I don't recommend cold emailing. You can email once you already have a relationship with these people, but from the start, I don't recommend it. I do recommend cold calling. And again, it's going to be a very, very simple thing. The goal with all these first interactions, and if you've watched my videos before, you've heard me say this, the first interaction that you have, whether it's walking into a brokerage, whether it's getting on a phone call with one of these people, or you're walking into an open house or a broker's tour or whatever, it is not to get clients that interaction. It's not. The purpose of that initial interaction is to say, hey, I'm Jordan, I exist, this is what I do. Would you mind terribly if I called you and followed up with you every few weeks to see if there's a good time for us to collaborate? That's it. That's the whole purpose of your first interaction, is to get their phone number, add the phone number to a spreadsheet, call them every 2 weeks, call them every 3 weeks, see if there's a good time to collaborate, and then they will eventually use you, I promise. Cold calling. Cold calling is going to be good. It's going to be nerve-wracking, but again, you don't have to launch this whole thing like, hi, my name is Jordan, I'm a real estate photographer in Louisville, Kentucky, I do blah, 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 blah. Do you have any listings for me? The answer is going to be no. You're putting them on like the defensive because you're asking them a direct question like, do you have any listings for me? Can I shoot your listing? Can you be my client? It's a very desperate thing. Whereas if you just pick up the phone and you call someone, you're like, hey, is this Sandra? Sandra's like, yes. And you're like, great, this is a cold call. I'm so sorry. I'll make this really, really quick. I'm not trying to sell you anything today. I just really want to let you know that I exist. I'm a real estate photographer. I do X, Y, and Z. Do you mind if I follow up with you every few weeks to see if there's a good time to collaborate? The answer is going to be, of course I don't mind. Yes. take down my phone, you already have my phone number from calling me, but call me in 3 weeks. I might even have a listing. I'll give you a shot. That is going to give you so much more exposure and positive exposure to these potential clients. You will get them as clients eventually. Like I've said, I've had conversations with realtors for 9 months like this before they finally ended up using me. So if I didn't keep essentially harassing them, and it's not harassment, I literally just called them and messaged them every 3 weeks just to see how things were going, I would not have that client. I would not have that money. I actually just went to an open house for that client today to get a few more shots of the ocean with my 85 millimeter. So these clients always pop up. It's all about tenacity, consistency, and just keep doing it. And I get it. Cold calling is difficult. It's nerve-wracking. You don't want to do it. I mean, there's a really common saying in business. It's like I can't remember the exact wordage of it, but it's something along the lines of, you know what you need to be doing. There's no magic in the business. You know probably deep down what you should be doing, and the thing that you're ignoring is the thing that's going to launch you to the next level. So if you are just posting some shit to Instagram, and you have kind of a half-assed website, and you're not cold calling, and you're not going into open houses, and you're not trying to do brokerage presentations, you're not going to get anywhere. It's just not going to happen for you. So if you know what you need to do to build your business and you're just avoiding it because it's uncomfortable, that's what you need to do. So that's my thoughts on cold calling. Walking into brokerages is going to be another fantastic method of client acquisition. And again, it's the same thing. You don't have to walk in with brochures or business cards or whatever. You just walk in, lock eyes with someone, approach them and say, hey, I know this is weird. I'm Jordan. I'm a real estate photographer. And I'm just looking to make some new connections. I'd love to get to know you a little bit. And then you talk for a little bit and you're like, hey, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Can I take down your phone number and maybe text you some more information? And maybe I'll call you every 3 weeks just to see if there's a good time to collaborate. That's it. That's all these different things that you need to be doing is all going to come into this one point where it's, great, thanks for chatting. Can I follow up with you continually? That's it. That's all you have to do. Walking into brokerages, there's a couple different things that you can do. So you can either walk in with the express purpose of like spreading the word, getting to know these certain people, or you can go into the express purpose of going to talk to the broker, getting to know the broker, setting up a relationship with the broker or brokers. There's typically multiple. And setting up a brokerage presentation, public speaking. Ooh, scary, it's very nerve-wracking, I understand. Brokerage presentations are fantastic because here's the thing, and let's just put discomfort to the wayside for a little bit and just talk about the benefits of public speaking or a brokerage presentation. Would you rather spend a bunch of time talking to 15 realtors individually, having to find those 15 realtors, whether it's driving to 15 individual open houses or 15 individual broker tours or DMing 15 people and getting them to actually respond, or would you rather have all of them sitting in front of you and you have a well-rehearsed brokerage presentation, which I can help you with? I have my brokerage presentation that you can copy for yourself in the description below. If it's not there, shoot me a comment and I'll put it there. Talking to 15 realtors all at once is going to be a far better use of your time, and especially if it's well-rehearsed and you're amazing at it, and people are going to be super impressed and be like, wow, Jordan's so professional. I can only imagine what he's like to work with his real estate photography, if he's comfortable in an uncomfortable situation like public speaking, because everybody knows public speaking is uncomfortable. So if you're doing it and you're doing it well, that's going to be impressive. If you're impressive at every single point in your business, then it's just going to be a given that your photos and your videos are impressive, and it's up to you to actually follow through and make sure they are impressive. So it's all those things. Brokerage presentation's fantastic. So those are a couple options when you go into a brokerage. You either go to talk to everybody individually, or you talk to the broker with the express, intent of like, hey, my name's Jordan. I own blah, 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 real estate photography. I would love a chance to talk at your next broker team meeting, your next realtor team meeting. And then, maybe I can bring donuts and coffee, or maybe I'll bring a couple pizzas or whatever and just, pitch my services and get to know these people. They're going to say yes. They always have real estate coaches coming or home inspectors coming. They have a bunch of people coming all the time to talk to their team members, to help them grow their business, to pitch them their services, X, Y, and Z. It's always happening. So you doing this is not going to stand out as awkward. They're kind of shifting gears a little bit. I cannot I don't know how I'm trying to say this. A website's super important. A really well done website is super vital. I can help you with that as well. Again, I'm a real estate photography coach. You can click the button right here to watch that video where I talk a little bit more about it. But a website that makes logical sense is incredibly important. So just the foundation of it, you have someone land on your webpage. It has a little bit of information about you, a book now button. You scroll down, it's got, maybe your 3 top bundles. Scroll down, it's got some reviews. Scroll down, it's got your example footage. Scroll down, a book now button. Scroll down, it's got where you operate. It has to make sense as a funnel to where someone hops in, and at the top it says real estate photography in Las Vegas, Nevada, or the best real estate photography services in real estate Nevada, or media services, whatever it ends up being. It has to make sense for search engine optimization purposes, which I'm going to hound you again. Learn SEO. It's super, super important for the social media posts that you're putting on there, for your website, all this stuff. Your website is super, super important. It has to be well made. So if you want to have, don't spend a bunch of money on it. You can learn how to do it all yourself, or you can have someone like me help you. It's not that expensive. Just get it done. It's super, super important. I'd say, well, actually, good point here. The sister brokerages that I landed, they found me through my website specifically because I ranked #1 for 8 different keywords in a 100-mile radius around. So if you're on your phone 75 miles away and you search real estate photography on Google, guess who's going to come up? My business, bad boy. Yes, and that's what you can do too. It takes a little bit of effort. It takes a few years to get there, but you can kind of sidetrack a lot of that by working with a coach, just saying. There's all kinds of different ways you can get clients. The last one, really there's 2, and I know I'm ADHD all over the place, but there's 2 methods of marketing. You have inbound marketing, you have outbound marketing. Outbound are the things that you go and do. You walk into a brokerage, you go to an open house, you cold call X, Y, and Z. Inbound marketing, with the express purpose of like getting clients. Inbound marketing is when people reach out to you. And I love inbound marketing. It's worked fantastic for this YouTube channel, getting coaching, students and all that stuff. But inbound marketing is when you create content specifically targeted to your ideal client or your target audience or whatever. They see it, they interact with it, they hire you. That is amazing. It's a much more long-term strategy, so you can't just post content for a month and be like, oh, I'm not getting any clients, and then give up. It's like create a piece of content every day for the next year type of thing, and then by the time the year passes, you'll be so ingrained in doing it, and you'll be like, wow, I can't imagine not doing this. That's going to be the most beneficial thing for your business is inbound marketing via content creation. I know you're going to struggle coming up with content ideas. It's going to be hard to wrap your brain around it. But if you've ever bought a car, like maybe it's a fairly unique car, and then you start seeing that car everywhere on the road, that's your brain's familiarity bias, or whatever the official terminology for it is. That's your brain's familiarity bias. It's you purchased that car, it has lodged its way into your brain as an object of importance. And you're going to start seeing that car model everywhere on the road. You're going to see it all the time. You're like, I didn't know there were so many of there. Your brain just didn't notice it before because it wasn't important. But now that you have that car, you'll see them everywhere. It's the same thing for your content creation. So use ChatGPT to generate ideas. Look at what other people are doing to figure out what you want to be doing for your content. But then after you've done it for about 3 weeks or a month, or depending on the severity of your dedication to your content creation, your brain will start filling in the gaps. Your brain will look at other pieces of content and be like, oh, I can tweak that and do that for myself, for my business. Oh, I can do it that way and tweak that way, blah, blah, blah. Your brain will start filling it out in the gaps because you've dedicated it to start paying attention to this skill. That's all learning new skills are. It's just teaching your brain to say, hey, pay attention to this, and it'll do the rest. I promise. It's quite wild how it works. But all these different methods of client acquisition, and there's so many different facets of it, you also have to be like, really professional, you have to be really well spoken, you have to not be an idiot, all these things. But all these methods of client acquisition don't mean anything if you don't actually go and do it. This stuff isn't just gonna happen for you. You know what I mean? Like, you actually have to go out there and cold call people. You have to walk into a brokerage. You have to put yourself out there and be in these uncomfortable situations. And I promise it won't be uncomfortable after a while. You'll just get used to it. I'm literally on top of a brokerage right now, a Century 21 brokerage I can walk downstairs and walk into. I've done brokerage presentations there. It's funny that I'm upstairs now. You gain the confidence and you realize like, oh my God, I'm not scared to do that at all anymore. Fantastic. And then it becomes just a new thing that's the new normal. But if you're not getting real estate photography clients, you're doing something wrong. And I'm willing to bet good money that you're probably just not doing what you know you need to be doing. So this is a challenge. Get out there and do it. Whether it's cold calling, content creation, walking into brokerages, walking into open houses, getting into broker stores. Networking events is another huge one to go to. Get into these networking events and hand out business cards, dress really nicely, be professional, all these things. I promise a lot of clients you'll be known. That's the whole idea too, is like you want to be well known in the area for what you do, because real estate is a very networking and relationship heavy industry to be in. Like I said in the last video or a couple of videos ago, 10% marketing, like 10% materials creation, photos, video, virtual tours, drone, all that stuff. 90% communication, brokerage presentation, public speaking, professionalism, all the other business running stuff. So that's kind of all I wanted to chat about with you today. If you need help, ask me questions in the comments. Happy to answer. That's what I'm here for. It's kind of the whole point of this channel, is to help you grow a real estate photography business. So I think I'm going to go home. I think this is the 4th video I've made in a row, even though I'm changing jackets to make it seem like I'm not. I literally went to Jack in the Box, got food, came here, ate the food, and then started making videos, and it's been a couple hours now. So I'm going to head home. Goodbye.